What is up, ladies and gents? It is me, Benjamin, coming at you guys, the people of the internet, with another video. Today, I got a Let's Play in Titanfall for you guys here. I recorded this video on the 30th. I just never got around to uploading it and doing a voiceover for it and editing it, so I decided to do it today because I didn't have anything better to do. Anyway, this voiceover was done on the, let's see what day it is today, on the 13th, so Destiny has been out for 4 days now, and I've been playing it non-stop, which is awesome, because it's really fun. So I'll try and kind of talk about Destiny, but I don't want to talk about it too much, just under the stanza that I'm going to do a Let's Play in Destiny at some point here. I'm going to do multiple Let's Plays in it, so I'm trying to keep it kind of short with that, but I've got some sweet burn cards here, so I'm going to see if I can find something to use. Probably rock an ogre here, which is pretty helpful. I mean, you get a free Titan right at the beginning of the match, so that's kind of nice. And I don't remember. Looks like I was level 44 when I made this. They're probably going to be the last Titanfall Let's Play I do. I mean, I'll be honest, after playing it for, let's see, by the time this video was made, I had probably played it for about 2 weeks, because I had a vacation, an interval vacation that lasted about 12 days. I was in Hawaii for quite a while, so that time doesn't really count. So I'd say about 2 weeks I had probably played this game, and it's good. It's a good game, but it's not anything special. It's no replacement for Halo or anything. It's fine. It's just not the most amazing game in the world. It really is just Call of Duty with mechs and parkour jumping, if you want it in a nutshell. Maybe it's a little bit better than COD, but it's pretty close. I mean, that would make sense because the developer, Respawn Entertainment, they came out of Infinity Ward, so kind of makes sense. Anyway, though, so yeah, I've been playing, I'll talk about Destiny first, because that's what I've been playing for the last 4 days. First day I got it, I took work off that day because, you know, I don't go back to the university until the 22nd, so I got, you know, a good week or two left. I can't do the math in my head right now, but I got at least 5 days until I have to go back. So I decided to take the day off, and I'm not working anymore until I come back or anything, because obviously I can't work a job that's not in the same locale as the school that I'm going to. But anyway, I played Destiny for about 12 hours on Tuesday. I just sat on my couch. I made myself a pizza and just sat there for a very, very long time, and I must say I deeply enjoyed doing that. It doesn't sound that great. Normally I can't play games for that long straight, but because I was so pumped up to play the game, I was able to do it and just power through and just play forever. Really, more or less, I just didn't want to get up and go do something else because I was enjoying it so much. So at this point, I'd say I probably clocked in a good 15 to 20 hours on the game, that including Tuesday as well as the past 3 days. So I'll do a Let's Play in that at some point, but probably this week I'll do one, just because I'd rather do it now as opposed to after I leave, just because it's a lot harder for me to do videos and stuff when I'm in school, so it kind of sucks. But anyway, first thing I will say about Destiny, the hype, the massive amount of hype that was building that game up, it definitely withheld. I don't think that, if you've seen my, I did a Destiny beta Let's Play last July, and that was just kind of a interval, my opinion of what the game was like so far. And overall, I liked it a lot. There just wasn't that much to do in the beta. You just had Earth, which was, probably a quarter of the game space that you were able to explore as within the full game. And I didn't really do a whole lot in the time that it was out. I mean, that was like 5 days. We got the beta on the 360, so there was a good amount of time there to explore, and I really didn't even do that much there. So the scope of this game is just absolutely gigantic. You got Earth, the moon, Earth's moon, Venus, and Mars. And those are the 4 main explorable pieces of space that you can, there's missions on, there are multiplayer maps on, and it's really fun. There's just so much to do in this game. I mean, there's a bajillion modes. You got the regular campaign, which I completed yesterday, which took quite a while. I mean, I played the whole thing through solo. I call it campaign. I'll just say story mode, since you can play it, and it's actually encouraged that you play it cooperatively. I played it by myself because I don't have any friends, apparently, so, yeah. I know, that sounds really depressing, but, no, I just don't have anybody that I know who owns a 360, or an Xbox One as well, who owns, Destiny, that I really want to play with. I mean, there's a couple people on my list that have ones with Destiny, but I mean, it's just like, they're not people that I know really well. But anyway, I played through the whole thing. I'd say it took anywhere between 8 and 12 hours to do the whole story. I mean, there's a lot of missions. There's like 3 missions per planet, so that ends you with like 12 missions, since there are 4 planets. So I mean, that's a good amount to do just within one mode. You got that, and then plus you have the external story missions, which are kind of like a bonus almost. You don't have to do them, but they are like story related, and they're like, scripted levels and stuff within the play space, which is cool because it's like, I can say, for example, there were 3 missions on Mars that were story related, and then there were 2 extra missions that were like, what do you call it? The external story missions. They were still campaign / story related, but you didn't have to do them to play to the next level. Whereas the traditional story levels you do have to play through to get to the next level, obviously. So that was kind of interesting how that worked out. And I'm gonna die here because I'm a fucking bad sniper. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna play this game anymore. I mean, granted that I have Destiny now, I'm just gonna play that straight until Halo comes out, and then I'm just gonna play Halo straight until the beta comes out, which is in December. So, it's just like, I'm gonna have so much to do with the games that I have. I don't really want to get any other games this holiday. I'm getting the Master Chief Collection, and that's really all I want, because I'm gonna want to clock so much time into this game right now, because it's fucking awesome. And I'm talking about Destiny, not Titanfall. I think I said this game, so that's probably why that confused myself. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, back to the subject of game modes. You have all the story missions, plus you have Patrol, which is like your exploration, which allows you to explore all of the environment that you will encounter in the campaign, as well as stuff that you just didn't ever see while playing through in the main story missions. So there's all kinds of unlockables and hidden things that you can find, and things move around too, because the world is supposedly really intuitive and kind of builds itself almost, if you know what I'm trying to say. So you got that going for you, and then then you have the public events, which you'll encounter while you're doing that, and those are just completely random. So you and your buddy in your fire team, and then plus 5 other people that are just doing something completely unrelated to whatever your team is doing, can just all encounter this giant like mech or something and have to fight it and kill it, because that's part of the game, is just kind of exploring and doing stuff that just happens within the world. So I thought that was, I haven't really done that yet. Like, I haven't even really done the patrol levels yet. They call it patrol, I call it exploration because it makes a lot more sense, but it says patrol if you go to the world map when you play the game. So you got that. So you got patrol and story, plus you have the strikes and the raids. Now the raids they haven't even released yet because I guess they're doing a bunch of DLC, which I'm going to talk about in a sec. So you got the raids coming out pretty soon, and that's going to be fun, obviously. And then you have the strikes, which are like these scripted story missions, but I don't know if you have to do it with somebody else, but they're freaking difficult hard to do without a full fire team. So it's recommended that you have people to do it with. Unfortunately, for people like myself who doesn't have any friends, they have a matchmaking system for that, so you can find just randoms to play with, which is awesome because if you don't have anybody that plays the game, it's not quite as fun. So yeah, you got story, exploration or patrol, and strikes and raids, which are basically these scripted missions, but they're a little bit more intense, if you will. They're not quite as like story driven. It's more like just mass amount of fighting. So you got those. And then you have the Crucible, which is the competitive player versus player multiplayer, which is the one thing I actually really want to talk about the most in this video, because there's so much environment with this game. As you have, as I said, you have maps from all of the planets, being Earth, the Moon, Venus, and Mars. And these maps are not encounterable in the environment. They're separate environments, which I really actually deeply appreciate, because a lot of shooters, I'll throw Battlefield and COD out into the fire here, because what a lot of shooters will do, those two specifically, they'll create a campaign, and then they'll take environments from the single player levels and put a little wall around them and make that a multiplayer map. And I think that's really lame, and I think it's really bad multiplayer design when companies do that. That's the one thing I always appreciated Halo for, was that they didn't do that. They'd make separate maps that were not related to the story at all. That's what Destiny did, but obviously they look like they could be within the single player, but they aren't. They're completely separate. The only way you can play on them is by playing the Crucible, which is a good thing in my opinion. They have separate stuff. There's even a map that doesn't even take place on the 4 main environments. It takes place on Mercury, so that might be a cue in that they might be doing some stuff with like adding other planets to the game at some point, which in my opinion would be fucking awesome. If they did that, like added Mercury and like maybe one of like the really outer planets like Pluto or something, that'd be freaking cool. I don't really know what you do, but it'd be cool. So yeah, it's all very exciting. Anyway, but the main thing I wanted to talk about with Destiny is the Crucible. And I have to say, after playing the beta, if you saw my Let's Play Destiny Beta Part 2, or whatever I called it, I wasn't particularly satisfied with the beta. The beta's multiplayer anyway. The rest of the game I was super stoked about. But sorry about that. The Crucible I was not particularly really satisfied with. And there were a lot of reasons to that, and I will say they did improve upon some of it, but overall I have to say I don't think the Crucible is as good as maybe I'd like it to be. Maybe that's just because I'm biased, and I think that the only multiplayer shooter out there that's good is our twin stick reticle shooters. I'm not a fan of twitch shooters like COD or Battlefield. And in case you're wondering, Halo is not a twitch shooter. It's what you call a reticle shooter, where you're encouraged to aim from the hip, as it's a lot easier than scoping. They give you the option to scope with certain weapons, but there's no ADS. That's what a twitch shooter is, in case you didn't know. I'm not a fan of twitch shooters, really. I'm not as good at twitch shooters. I mean, I'm pretty good at Destiny's multiplayer, considering most of the people that you play against didn't play the beta, and I got, you know, a good week to prepare in that sense and know what I was expecting. Not to mention, I didn't start playing the Crucible until I was about level 12, so I had decent stuff to take on the scrubbier players. But once you get into the high levels where I'm at now, I'm about level 20 right now, it starts to become a little bit more infuriating, in the sense that you'll get matched up with people who are 12s, and then you'll end up getting matched up against people who are like in parties that are like level 25, like a party of 3 or something, and that's just really bad matchmaking, in my opinion, and it's kind of a letdown in that sense. Because, you know, Bungie I've always considered really good at getting the matchmaking system right, especially after Halo 3, which I thought was really the pinnacle of their matchmaking system in general. Reach was okay, but they kind of took away the ranking system, which I didn't like as much. It was more just of a progression system they had going there. But Halo 3, they had the ranks, and you had the option, if you didn't care about the skill of the other players, you could play social. And usually, or at least for me anyway, because I consider myself decent at the game, I usually got matched up against kids who weren't as good as me. Occasionally you'd run into the occasional 50. I mean, I'm talking about Halo 3 when it was really populated. Not right now, of course, because at this point Halo 3 has really just turned into it's very one-sided in terms of the kinds of people you will encounter in the game now. It's very just, either you're going to encounter people who are insanely good, like we're talking like the top 1% of the entire population that's ever played the game, and like the bottom 2%, like the people who have never played the game before. So those are really the only people that play the game at this point, so that's the problem with Halo 3.
Welcome back, pilot. I've kept the seat.
I mean, that's kind of an exaggeration, but it's true to some degree. Especially when I play, say, like ranked Team Slayer on Halo 3, which I have a 50 in. Like, I'm confident at this point, if I started a new account, I could not get a 50 in the game in any playlist right now, because of the fact that the only people that play ranked now are really, really good. So I just don't think I would ever happen if there were enough people to play, just because the population is just so twisted at this point. Now, back, say, in 2009 or 2010, yeah, I think I could get a 50 pretty easily. I mean, it didn't take me very long to get the 50 on my my first account, so it's just like, you know. Anyway, though, back to the topic of Destiny's matchmaking. So, my point I'm trying to raise is that I feel like that they kind of took away some of the things that they did correctly in their past games, being Halo, and I don't really know why, because they got it down pretty well, and the vast majority of the people that played their games were pretty satisfied with it, so not really sure why they did that. I mean, I haven't really heard a lot of complaining from people about this subject, but I do feel that there could be some improvements made to it. As I said, I myself feel like, since I don't have anybody that I know, it might be a lot better if you have people that you know to play the game with. But I don't really know anybody that's like really good at shooters, and even if I did, it's just like they don't have Xbox Ones, or they don't have Destiny. It's, you know,